and welcome to another episode of the Music and Therapy Podcast with Relationship Coach Keana W. Mitchell. I am your host, Keana W. Mitchell. Well, I hope everyone is doing well and that you had an amazing weekend and that your day is awesome, and also that you are taking care of yourself and making self-care a priority. Last week on the podcast, we talked about how you can leave an abusive marriage or relationship if you are in an abusive marriage. We also talked a little bit about how you can help someone else who is in an abusive marriage or relationship leave that relationship or marriage. So here are some of the takeaways from last week's episode of the podcast. Number one, it's important to understand the psychology of abuse, because so many times we'll sit here and we'll judge and we'll be like, I would have left a long time ago. This person should leave. This is what they should do. We're good about telling people what they should do, but what we don't know is the reason that they're staying. Maybe they're afraid for their safety. Maybe it's financial. We don't understand why they're staying. We don't understand what happened in their childhood that allowed them to stay. We don't know that psychology of abuse. We don't know what's going on. So instead of judging them, it's important that we be a safe person, which of course is step number two. Be that safe person. Be that person that they can come to and talk to, knowing that you're going to listen without judgment. Because so many times that's what people need. They need for us to listen to them without judging them. Because think about it. If you are constantly judging someone and telling them what they should and should not do, they're probably not going to talk to you because you don't make them feel safe or accepted or comfortable. So be that safe person, whether you agree with the situation or not, that they can come to. Now, I'm not saying to stand idly by while that person may be abused. What I'm saying is be that safe person, be there as their support and to help them when needed. Number three, if you are in an abusive situation, it's important to find a support system. Sometimes people don't leave because they don't have a support system. They don't know who to call, what to do, how to get out, how to find housing, a job, etc. So finding a support system is important because having other people who you can talk to, run ideas off of, can be very helpful as you deal with the abuse and try to get away from the abuse. Number four, make an escape plan. A lot of times it takes people who are abused or victims of abuse several times before they leave. And so having an escape plan, knowing, okay, so when I leave, this is what I do. Or helping someone make an escape plan so that they'll know what to do when they leave and have things set in place is very, very important. And finally, number six, please get help. Being in an abusive situation is a dangerous, dangerous situation. There have been a lot of people who have been murdered, seriously hurt, because they stayed in abusive relationships and marriages. So get help and get out. These are some takeaways from last week's episode of the podcast. If you would like to find out more about how either you can leave an abusive marriage or relationship, or how you can help someone who is in an abusive marriage, then I ask you to click on the link in the show notes to listen to last week's episode of the podcast. This week on the podcast, we are going to be talking about a serious and often misunderstood form of psychological manipulation known as gaslighting. Yes, I know we all have heard about it. And I feel that it's important to talk about it, especially when we're trying to talk about how to work with our marriages, so that we are not giving people diagnosis or misunderstanding what is happening to us, but that we'll be informed about what gaslighting is, what is happening, so that we can tell whether we are being gaslighted or if we are not. So one of the things we're going to talk about is how to recognize if your spouse is gaslighting you. Now, sometimes when it comes to gaslighting, this behavior can be intentional, and sometimes it is unintentional. And we're also going to talk about what steps you can take if you find yourself in this situation. Now, I want to start out by saying not everyone who think that they're being gaslighted are, okay? There are a lot of situations where people are not gaslighting you. But then there are some situations where people are trying to gaslight you. And it's difficult to know the difference, especially if it is your spouse. So first, let's just talk about this. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where one person tries to make another person doubt their own perception, memories, or sanity. This term originated from the 1944 film Gaslight, where a husband manipulated his wife into believing she's going insane by making subtle changes to their environment and insisting that she is mistaken or imagining things when she noticed them. Now, this was a good movie. Okay, guys, I actually did watch it. You should watch it too. It's an old movie, it's in black and white, but it was amazing because you can actually see where they got the term from and what gaslighting actually is. I know a lot of couples, they feel like if their spouse didn't remember something the same way they remember it, that, oh, you're gaslighting me. Or if they have a different perception of events, they'll think, oh, they're gaslighting me because they don't see it this way. So let me just throw it out there. Just because your spouse may not see things the way you see it, or their perception is different, does not mean that they're gaslighting you, okay? Gaslighting is totally different. So when it comes to recognizing gaslighting, this can be challenging because it often starts subtly and people don't notice that it's going on. So here are some signs that your spouse might be trying to gaslight you. And guys, please remember, this is not in every situation. It's actually not very often that people are intentionally trying to gaslight you. But here are some of the signs that your spouse may be trying to gaslight you. Number one, denial of facts. So if they deny things that you know to be true, for example, they might insist that a conversation or event never happened. Yeah, that could be a red flag. They could definitely be trying to gaslight you. Trivializing your feelings. So they dismiss your feelings as being oversensitive or irrational. That could be a form of gaslighting. Shifting blame is a form of gaslighting. These are all signs that make up gaslighting, okay? They might consistently blame you for things that go wrong, even if it's not your fault, even if it had nothing to do with you. A good example would be if they had to run a marathon and they blame you because it was raining that day. So that would be shifting blame. But even if we went to something more realistic, let's say you guys were at work, you and your spouse were at work, your child got sick. So they blame you because your child got sick and they had to go pick them up. Shifting blame. So this is a sign that someone's trying to gaslight you. Isolation. They might try to isolate you from friends or family, making you more dependent on them. And this is something that happens to a lot of people in situations where abuse is occurring. They try to isolate you from family. They try to isolate you from friends. But they're doing this for a reason. They are doing this because they know if you only have them and you are dependent on them, then they can force their reality and perception on you. They can kind of make you think things that are not true. You're more vulnerable when you are isolated from people who love you and care about you because you don't have other people's input. You don't have the view of that person on the outside looking in. It's just you and them. So they're trying to isolate you. That could be a sign that your spouse is trying to gaslight you, or it can be a sign that they are controlling, abusive. Isolation is never good. So if you find yourself in a situation where you are being isolated, let that be a red flag and know something's not right, something's not going on. In a healthy relationship, your spouse should be okay with you having other friends and hanging around with your family and being friends with the people that you already friends with and having those other social connections. If they're not, that is definitely a red flag. Number 5. When people are trying to gaslight you, you often feel confused and you second guess yourself after conversations with them. So let's say you know for a fact that your husband or wife did not pay the utility bill and your electric got turned off. But after talking to them, they told you, no, that's not the case. I paid it. They turned it off because of a mistake. But you know that is not the truth. And you walk away being confused, like, wait, maybe they're right. Can it have been a mistake? If you are second guessing yourself after conversations, then you might be in a situation where someone is trying to gaslight you. And when I say second guessing yourself, I am not talking about if you did or said something to your spouse and later on you're like, you know what, maybe I was just a little too rough on them. Maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about, if you are second guessing what you already know to be true, then that is a sign that your spouse may be trying to gaslight you. Now, gaslighting can be both intentional and unintentional. Some individuals are fully aware of this manipulation, and they are doing this deliberately to gain control and power over you. But On the other hand, others might do this subconsciously, unconsciously. It could be a result of their own unresolved issues or learned behavior from past experiences, or they could be trying to hide something. I was listening to another podcast with this amazing therapist. His name is Joe Bean, and he was talking about how he was gaslighting his wife unintentionally because he was having an affair. And she was starting to pick up on different things, and he was trying to convince her, no, it's not true. But he was gaslighting her, not intentionally, but unintentionally, because he was trying to cover up the fact that he was having an affair. So a lot of times people can gaslight you, but it's unintentional, and that's not what they're trying to do. And then at other points, people are intentionally doing it. They're deliberately trying to make you second guess yourself because this is a form of manipulation or control. So what do we do if your spouse is trying to gaslight you? Number one, document everything. Keep a record of conversations and events. Sometimes even like recording conversations can be helpful if you're feeling that someone is trying to gaslight you. This can help you validate your experience and prove evidence if you need to. Number two, seek support. Talk to trusted friends, family members, or therapists who can offer an outside perspective and emotional support. Number three, set some boundaries. Clearly communicate your boundaries and stick to them. Let your spouse know that manipulative behavior is unacceptable. And sometimes we have to set boundaries. I did a podcast a while ago talking about setting boundaries in your relationship or in your marriage. It is important to set these boundaries because you have to let people know what is okay, what is not okay, what you are comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. Because if you don't tell people these things and communicate your boundaries to them, then they're going to break them, they're going to run over them because they don't know. So it's important to communicate these boundaries to your spouse, and please stick with them. Do not let them get away with things. Stick to these boundaries. Let them know that this type of behavior is unacceptable and is damaging to the marriage or the relationship. Number four, consider getting professional help. Now, couples therapy can sometimes help address underlying issues. However, if the gaslighting is severe, individual therapy might be more appropriate. Guys, there is no shame in getting counseling or coaching or help if you see you are in a situation you don't know what to do. A lot of times, especially in marriages and relationships, we do find ourselves in situations we don't know what to do because we've never been married before. We've never been in this particular situation. And there isn't a book that says, okay, so when you get married, step A, step B, do this, do that. So we have general knowledge of what to do, but we are going to need help at some point in the relationship, especially if it's a long-term relationship or marriage. You're going to need help. So please, if you think that you're being gaslit by your spouse, get help because they can help you come up with what to do, how to navigate these situations. And when we talk about counseling or therapy or coaching, these individuals are not going to tell you step by step what to do. But what they can help you do is navigate through the situation and empower you to come up with your own conclusions and ways for you to solve your own problem. Number five, prioritize your well-being. Guys, listen, your mental health and emotional health should come first. So if the situation doesn't improve, you might need to consider more drastic measures, such as a separation or a divorce. And if this is what you have to do, I don't want you to feel guilty about it. I want you to know that you tried and you did the best that you can and the best that you could. But if you are being destroyed physically or emotionally by this time of manipulative behavior, you definitely have to leave. You definitely have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Should I stay or should I go? In conclusion, guys, gaslighting is a harmful form of manipulation. It can have serious effects on your mental health and well-being. So it's important for you to recognize the signs and take steps to protect yourself so that you will be okay emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Remember, seeking help and support is a sign of strength and not weakness. Now, the song that we're going to listen to this week is called Moving On, and it is about a woman who realizes that she needs to move on from her current relationship. Here is the song, Moving On. It wasn't supposed to end this way. Our love was so so strong I thought it would stay, but people and things got in the way. Now I have no words to say. What started out so beautiful was easily erased. You said that we should separate because you need your space. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Before I end the podcast, I would like to thank you so much for being here with me today. I absolutely love hanging out with you each week, and it's always a pleasure to spend time with you. If you love the podcast as much as I love spending time with you, I encourage you to share this week's episode with a friend or family member, and make sure that you like and follow the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. I will also love it if you will leave a review for the podcast so you can let me know how much you are enjoying the show. Because I am so thankful to you guys, I am going to be giving away a free gift. I understand that being married can be difficult and stressful at times. So if you are looking for a way to stop arguing and resolve issues in your marriage, then click the link below in the show notes to download your free PDF about how to solve problems in your marriage. If you would like to contact me, feel free to contact me on social media by clicking the links in the show notes, and I promise you that I will respond to your message. Well, I think that's all for now. So until next week, have an amazing day and a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.